Yeah, can you see in there decent? Okay. So this is your transmission gears. This is first gear, this is second gear, this is third gear, and fourth gear here is part of the input shaft. It's one piece with the input shaft. Fourth gear can be replaced by just splitting the tractor, as you can see here. This is the shift collar that goes between third and fourth gear. Third gear right there. And then this is the shift collar between first and second. And it has the reverse gear on it to mesh with that small pinion gear down there. To change directions, obviously you need one additional gear. So that'll engage with second and first there. So what happens with these transmissions, if people don't stop when they're shifting gears, these pieces on the edge of the gear down here, they're called the shift lugs or splines. Different terminology from different areas of the US. But what essentially happens is that the corners of these shift lugs get worn down and rounded off. And that causes the gears to pop out. So you may be able to see down on one side of these, it would be this one right here. Right there. Here's blurry. Yeah, zoom out. So the corner of this shift lug here and all of them are rounded off a little bit more than I'd like to see. The complaint on this transmission is third gear was popping out, but if we're going through all the labor to disassemble this here, I would recommend replacing second gear. The corners of those shift lugs are rounded just a little bit too much. Let's go up to third gear here. So this is the gear that was popping out, and surprisingly it looks a little bit better than fourth gear. And again, the corners of the shift lugs there are just worn down and rounded off. And in my opinion, this transmission and the engineers at Allis during that era did not design these transmissions well enough, because you may be able to make out the gear only engages about 1/4 of an inch. So if you round 1/8 of an inch of that corner off, you're only left with 1/8 of an inch of engagement, which with a little bit of end play or tractors going up and down hills, the gear ends up popping out. Not to mention that some of these tractors, the shift rails, did not even engage the gear all the way to begin with. So that's why it might be possible to move the detent on the shift rail and make your collar engage all the way. So the corners here are worn down in third, that's why it was popping out. And from the wear pattern, it looks like there was only about 1/16 of an inch of gear engagement, not including the rounded off corners, which is why the gear popped out. A 1/16 of an inch of surface is not enough to hold the gear engaged. And here's fourth gear. So this one is the most worn, and hopefully you can see how the corners of these shift lugs are rounded off and in need of replacement there. The corners of the shift lug should almost be as sharp as this spline under the shift collar here. Almost as sharp. Maybe just a little bit of a radius on it, that's about it.